You are listening to the WB Download, coming to you from Wieland Builders showroom in Studio 1C. We are a podcast centered around building custom homes, the customer experience of building a custom home, and a really entertaining listen from many great guests and interviews that may or may not have anything to do with building. I'm excited to share with you their voice and their stories that will enhance your idea of the custom builder world. All right. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Jeff Wieland with Wieland Builders here on the WB Download. Today is Tuesday, August the 13th, 2024. Thank you so much for listening in. Thanks for being here once again and listening to the show. So, we got a lot of stuff going on, and we got some really cool guests today. First time I've met these folks, and we've been working with them at Homearama. And so it's going to be a fun deal. They are Heather Walker and Jillian Dowd from Curated Fine Furnishings and Design. It's a furniture company that's in Loveland, Ohio, formerly known as Bond Furnishings. And they helped us out there on the Homearama house, stocking us with some furniture and doing some design work with our designers. And so we brought them in today to have them on the podcast, which is going to be fun, interesting, and pretty cool to listen to what they have to say. And they will be coming up here as the guest for today. So here's what's happening in the world right now in Wieland Builders and my life. We're hustling to get things done and get things going. We started 2 projects here in the last 2 weeks, finally. And was able to break ground on them, just short of breaking every piece of equipment we have. So the big excavator, the 323, busted a couple lines on it and held us up for probably a week over there on one job. Got it back going again, and then the skid steer busted a couple tracks on it, or a track on it. So we ended up replacing the tracks on it, and I might as well just bought a new one at this point because we replace the tracks on it, replace the bucket on it, and just keep beating the crap out of it. So very exciting. I love owning equipment when it comes to having to repair it. There's more to say, but I'm just not even going to say it. So anyway, so then we moved over to Liberty Township, getting one going over there, and we're pretty excited. Man, we got so much good stuff going on in architecture right now. It's so fun to see these things come together and start drawing them, seeing people's inspirations come to reality, and then we get to start building on them. So good things happening. So an update on Homearama: we moved furniture in yesterday, and we're getting ready to open for the show. But we installed sod 2 weeks ago, which is just a shit show. Everybody's sod in the whole neighborhood looks great, except for ours, because we're morons. And, it should take 2 days to lay this. They tried to lay it in 1 day, let the sod sitting out there. They lay it down, leave it bake for a little while, and then turn the sprinkler on it. And we just couldn't have screwed this up more. So you drive down the street, beautiful, and shit. And then beautiful. And then, here we are. It happens. I'm just hoping that by the time the show rolls around, we've mowed it a couple times and it's going to come back. But I just want to so badly say the name of the sod company that put it in there. But we've been doing business with them for a long time. They make mistake after mistake, and yet we keep doing it. But anyway, getting ready for the general public to come through your Homearama house is tough. We have to rope things off, fence things off. We have to take doors off the bathrooms. We have to bolt things down, make things to where the people can't take them. We have to put signage up to direct them on which way to go. And we have to put floor coverings down to make sure that things don't get damaged. There's up to 40-something thousand people that'll come through the house and walking through this show and seeing everything we've got. So it takes a lot to prepare for that. And it also takes a lot to maintain that during the show, keeping things clean, touching up paint. Because by the middle of that first week, or the end of that first week, middle of the second week, it gets a little bit rough. And I want to make sure that the people who are coming through in those final days understand that this is still a new house. So we want to make sure it stays clean for them. They don't care that there was other people walking through it already. A lot of prep work, a lot of things happening in here. So we are excited to get to our big opening night party on Friday the 23rd and have a glorious time there. It's always a good time for that opening night because it's a relief. Everybody that's been working on a house is out there having a good time and letting loose. We are at the Home Builders Association of Greater Cincinnati. We are looking for a new executive officer, and Laura Brand, who was on this show, has moved on to another opportunity, they call it, and so we're looking for a new executive officer. So if you are interested or know somebody who would be interested in this position, who would be the right person for this position, reach out to me, and I'll send you in the right direction on how to get hooked up with the company that we have doing the interviews. And that's a big deal, because this is like the fourth time I've been through this in my life over there at the executive or at the Home Builders Association, and it sucks. So anywho, as far as anything else, Cody and Raina, our football season has begun. We had our preview weekend last weekend, and Raina's cheering. Cody's in junior high, so I mean that's a completely different world for us. I'm not coaching anymore, and so I get to go and drop them off at practice and pick them up, and that's it. So we're in full swing with those two, and back at the field again on the weekends. And I want to tell you too, if you see my mom out and about, or you just want to reach out to her, wish her a happy birthday. Her birthday was on Sunday this past week, and I just want to say happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Such a wonderful, wonderful lady and inspiration in my life. Happy birthday. As well as my sister-in-law, Monica, wish her a glorious birthday too. She has an August birthday, and make sure you wish her a happy birthday. So, hey, that's what's happening in the life of Wieland Builders and me and my family. It's kind of, there's so much stuff going on. I'm just not going to bore you with it. I want to jump into our guest. I want this is a fun interview. And like I said, this is the first time I met these people, and we just kind of, we were jiving and having a good time talking about things that are happening in their world. They are new business owners, so that's always interesting to find out how that's going. And they're also really, really good at what they do. And we are honored to be able to work with them. And we're grateful that they took time to be here on the WB Download. So let's introduce them. This is Heather Walker and Jillian Dowd, owners of Curated Fine Furnishings. Guys, welcome to the WB Download. All right. Like I said, our guest today is Heather Walker and Jillian Dowd from Curated, and they are a home furnishing place in Loveland, Ohio. And I'm going to bring them on the show. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Glad
I appreciate
to be here.
it. We're glad to be working with you. Every year in Homearama, we were so lucky. The first several years we did it, like in my era, to where our customers just bought a ton of furniture, and they came in and they put it in the house, and we're like, shit, this is easy. We don't have to worry about it. And we did that for several years, and then there was a couple years where like they didn't do that, and we had to go out and just hunt and beg, borrow, and steal and try and find stuff. Did the same thing with some appliances. They had to do some things with some different tastes that people had, because it's a show house. And then we hit COVID, and that was miserable. And thankfully, again, our customers bought a bunch of furniture, but we didn't know when it was going to get here, and that was always a risk. And then this year, we come along and we find you guys, and you guys save the day, right?
Well, thanks.
You show up and you are providing the furniture for our home, basically on loan, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And you're bringing it out there. So we're grateful for you. We're grateful for you being here. We love having you guys part of our team, and we're going to talk about what you guys want today.
That's great.
If I start talking about myself too much, you need to say, shut up. We're here to talk about me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here to talk about furniture, not building houses and cows.
We're good talking about ourselves.
We are
too.
pretty good at that.
We can take over too.
All right. So how did you guys get started in business? What makes one join the furniture business?
Well, I have a background in interior design. That's what I've been doing for the past 30 years. So I feel you when you talk about Homearama back in the day, especially I was doing Homearama with June Serber.
Yeah.
So I worked for June Serber and Associates for years, and it was always begging and borrowing and doing everything we could to outfit DeStefano homes, especially. So that
was that a plug for DeStefano on the Wieland Builders podcast?
Sorry.
Good
No.
God.
Sorry.
We haven't even been 5 minutes into this thing.
Oh, I'm doing bad.
That's all right. If we're going to plug somebody, we'll plug
I know
them.
You're friends with Dan.
I know. We are.
So
we are very
it's all
friends.
good, right?
Dan's been on here.
Yes, I know Dan's been on here. So, So anyway, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I was with Globe Furniture Galleries back in the day. Yeah, that's where I got my start. And then after that went on to June's, and then went out on my own when she retired. So that being said, when it came to finding a new place to go to on my end of everything, it was because I was chasing myself all over town looking for different outlets to shop for my clients. And it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible today to find clients furniture that's, easy and accessible in one stop. So my husband was listening to the Brian Thomas show, and another plug for Brian Thomas, right?
Go.
Yeah. So he was listening to 55, and he said, you should go over to Bond Furniture Galleries. And I'm like, Bond? What? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's like old people furniture and ugly old recliners and stuff like that. And he goes, no, they keep talking about how they have designers now and this, that, and the other. And I said, fine, I'll go over and just see what they're doing. I thought I was just going to shop there with my clients. I walk in and I meet, at the time, the owner and another designer there. And it was beautiful. I mean, beautiful for where it started. I mean, Jillian and I have taken it way further than that. But that being said, it was a one-stop shop for me to settle in and take my clients and like not have to go all over the town again. So I decided to go and work for them.
Nice.
And that's kind of how it started. And then from there, it just went. And then Jillian can kind of fill you in.
Yeah. So I was actually working for a builder.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Monarch Homes, not necessarily a plug, but just letting you know that's where I worked.
They're Lebanon.
They are Lebanon. Absolutely. Good people.
Yeah.
And so I was their selections designer, as well as I did a lot of drafting for them as well.
Okay.
And it was part-time. They're not a big builder. But so I had a lot of free time to still work on independent clients of my own. And so I did that. And I was just getting to the point where I really enjoyed the process of, the furniture. I've always been a creative type. I've always been in that side of the business always, with the furniture and the accessories and really doing someone's entire home. And so Heather called me up kind of at a point where I was really ready to probably make a change, if I'm really being honest. And she said, hey, you just got to come over here. So I don't know if you know this, but Heather is my husband's third cousin.
Okay.
Or something
Neighbor.
to
Small world,
Your husband's third cousin's neighbor's friend.
yeah, small world.
I was going to ask that if you guys were friends or how you guys knew each other.
We
So
are
that
not
makes
related,
sense.
but
You are related.
Yes.
You're
but
not,
we are.
but you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. There's definitely family members that put
Okay.
together.
Is there any other builder or show that you'd like to plug in here before we get too much further?
Well, give me a second.
I just
let
want to
me
make sure
think
that we're
about
covering
it.
everybody.
Yeah,
around
I'll think
here.
about it. I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good.
For
It's
sure.
good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
So I came in for the interview. I'll never forget it. And she says, hey, what do you think? And I said, well, I'm kind of a lot. Just so you know.
And I said, I'm kind of a lot too.
And so I said, well, I just want you to know, I'm kind of the type of person that's going to shake things up a little bit. She's like, that's exactly what I want. I want someone who's going to take us to this next level.
Absolutely.
The store had come to a certain point and it was wonderful where it was, but she knew, as a lot of people did in the store, that things could be better.
Yeah.
And so adding that other designer, adding somebody in who had ideas and just wanted more, was definitely essential in, and having the other person to,
And she has.
piggyback.
She's taken us to a different level where we work really well together.
Absolutely.
And making decisions on and jumping off and really making decisions on what we're going to do next. Right. And so what happened after that is we decided to change the name of the business and then add a lot of new stuff in and add a lot of new of what we do. Right. And from there we became Curated Fine Furnishing and Design.
So you guys own it.
Yes.
Part owner, yeah.
There's three owners.
Okay.
So Jillian, myself, and our other partner, which is Kevin and Jody Maloff.
That's what I was wondering.
Which you know.
Yeah.
Which is developing Homearama.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So who owned it? Who owned Bond beforehand?
Kevin did for 6 years before we stepped in. Luckily, Kevin has been wonderful with us and allowed us to jump in with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He gave us this opportunity, and we're trying to make a great success of it. So he's a dear friend of ours and just a mentor.
Good.
For sure.
I always thought that was just an older family from Loveland that owned that place, and that's
A long
what they
time
did.
ago. Yeah, a long time ago. It was one family for, I think, like 60 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And we always called it ketchup and mustard, the store of ketchup and mustard, like red walls, yellow walls, ugly floors. And it was just old school, you know, and you anticipated what you were going to get at the time. And then Kevin and Jody bought it, and they turned it around.
Okay.
They didn't know anything about the furniture business.
Right.
He's just a type A personality that loves to get into business and really, you know, bring a business up. And that's what he did with Bond. And then he always had it in the back of his head that we were going to change the name. We just didn't know when.
Right.
Right.
And he is he's someone who really likes nice things
He
as
does.
well. And so, you know, him seeing the store develop into what it is has also been, I think, a lot of his vision to some extent, even though we're the ones executing it.
Yeah.
I believe he definitely is.
We take his input and then we take it to the
Absolutely.
next level for all of us. And that brings us to circle around to the fact that we were new furniture only. And then we decided that we were going to start doing some vintage and antique pieces intermixed with it. So
I was wondering what you were going to say next.
Yes.
Like you were selling used. There's a used furniture store across the street here. You know,
That's not it.
maybe that's next.
Used tires, used furniture, used mattresses. Let's sell it all.
Oh my.
That is really
No, I'm a little too
entrepreneurial.
terrified of bed bugs
Oh
for
my
that.
gosh. Tell me about it.
So was Bond at some point? They were high end, right? I mean, even though their taste towards the end was probably a little bit lower, but they were probably high end.
They
right?
were.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that, oh my gosh, about 15 years ago, maybe even closer to 20 years ago, I brought my grandparents in there because my grandma wanted a Flex Steel sofa.
Yep.
And we were going to get a Flex Steel sofa. And of course I made it as good as I could get it, but I remember that, and that was the clientele.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, my grandparents.
So what do you consider yourselves now? You guys are high end furniture, right? Or are you?
I think
what
we're intermixing though, because what we want to do is we want the average consumer to be able to come in and pick up something. We don't
Absolutely.
want everybody to come in and think, oh my gosh, I can't even walk in there and buy something.
Right.
So we're doing accessories. We're doing fall, a holiday. You know, Christmas is really important for us. We're developing that right now. And a lot of midline furniture to higher end furniture,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Where do you get your antiques at? I mean, are you just kind of
Estates,
Okay.
some antique dealers that we deal with, and then we have a couple other outlets.
Is it just
too.
because you love it, or is it
Yes.
because there's something that
We
you
do
found?
love it.
And
Yeah.
Kevin loves it just as much as we do.
But I'm talking about the antique piece. Like when you go to buy it, you're looking at it and you're not like, well, we could use that, put that in a store, or is it because you've
it's a
fallen
little
in
bit
love
of
with it?
it's a little bit of both, but usually it's a fall in love thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Do you sell
think
art? Do you sell art in the
We
store
do,
too? Yeah.
and we are actually trying to branch away from what we call stock art, which is getting
Yeah.
art from just wherever, and now we're getting in a lot of fine art.
Nice.
From local
To have both.
From local, yeah. So we're trying to branch our clients out to understand that you can afford at least one piece in your house that's
Yeah.
a nicer piece.
That would be cool to find a local artist who is actually doing some art.
Yes.
Instead of that blotchy paint, that's
Exactly.
on a canvas, and you're like,
Right.
this is art. I'm like, no.
Yeah. So we're
And we do
partnering
have
with
one.
we're partnering with one in particular, but then we're partnering with a gallery too that's represented, and actually is part of Homearama, is part of
Yeah.
your house too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so we're working together with Gallery Veronique, and she's putting art in our store
Oh, they
too.
do such a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
They really
That's
do.
really
She's
cool.
wonderful.
Things. Yeah.
Really cool, really cool. So how can people find your store? Not that we're wrapping this up because that's usually at the end, but,
Right.
but like when we're talking about this, I want to make sure that people know you're in Loveland, Ohio, right?
Right,
Absolutely.
we are
And
right
that's
in the
is that
heart of
your-
the historical.
It's
Yes.
historical part of Loveland.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
like when you get off the highway Loveland. It's down in
Correct.
Old Loveland.
Yeah,
the
it's down with
downtown.
all the restaurants, and it's a destination. And actually, Kevin, our partner, has made Loveland a destination,
I know.
quite honestly, with all the purchasing of all the businesses and rejuvenation of Loveland. So we are at 113 Carl Brown Way, and that's Carl with a K. And and we've been there, but under a different name for, I think it was 80 some years.
Nice.
So
it's right when you come across the bridge into Old Loveland, it's there on the right-hand side. So what about if, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to make sure.
Yeah, you are correct.
Don't go left, go right.
Yeah.
Right.
And what about like on social media, your website, and where can, I mean, are you guys doing any shows, or you guys, what do you got going on?
We got a lot going on.
Yeah.
We are definitely doing a lot.
Right.
So we are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We do a lot of different things. We've got a lot that we're doing as far as shows as well. We've got some events that coming up. Peterloon pop-up holiday market is coming up, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to get our brand new floral things out there. We also have an event up in Lebanon that we're going to be doing. The Grace Green Country Market, Darling Farm, where we're going to have a lot of Christmas decor and things like that for sale.
Where's that at?
It's up in Lebanon. I want to say it.
I don't know. I don't know what road it is on.
I know where it is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm so sorry, but it's Darling Little Farm, and the lady that runs it is just a wonderful human being.
Okay, good.
Her name's Temple.
Okay,
and she has a all natural beauty line that she creates out of her farm, and she's opened up the opportunity to have many vendors come in. And the last time I went, I was just there perusing as a customer, and it basically just looked like a darling little Hallmark movie.
That's cool.
And I thought, this is something
perfect for us.
we got to be a part of.
Yeah,
it's got to be in Lebanon.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's just so charming. So we're excited about that. And then the Peterloon events that we're going to be doing. We're just really thrilled about that.
That's good.
Again, beautiful historic property.
Yeah.
And for us to be there in the Indian Hill area, with all of our really exquisite, Christmas decor, we're just excited to be able to bring that to the community.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
So whereas before we would sell a little bit of Christmas and a little bit of fall, but right now what we've done is we've bought into purchasing a lot of fall and a lot of Christmas. So that's kind of the direction that we're going now, is really, really pushing those elements too. And then we also have our November 8th open house at our store, which is the Christmas event, which will be for, a Christmas sale that we'll be having. And then
our ladies' night.
Our ladies' night is next Thursday from 6 to 9, which will be fun, drinks and appetizers and shopping with all kinds of vendors, actually.
Yes. It's not just us. We're bringing in other people.
Yeah,
so we're excited about that.
Come drink with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we like that, though.
Night.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the key to the furniture business? I mean, when I think about furniture as like cabinetry, and people are talking about quality, and they're like, well, we need this, and I think it's more like brand name. But what makes it a quality piece of furniture? What makes it high end? What makes it just a standard piece of furniture?
Oh, there's so many different elements to that. I mean, as far as wood products are going, like tables and things like that, solid wood construction is key element. And we deal with a lot of Amish with that. And you hear the word Amish and people go, oh, Amish, that's going to look like, my grandma's pieces of furniture.
We make it beautiful.
Yeah, it's not that anymore. It looks entirely different than what it used to look like. Contemporary to transitional to traditional. There's all kinds of different pieces. And we get to curate it, and we get to put finishes on it and
hardware.
Do all kinds of wonderful things with it. And then as far as upholstery is concerned, there's all kinds of elements to that too, because what makes high end is what they call 8-way hand tied, hardwood construction. All of those elements are what makes it as high end goes.
What is 8-way hand tied?
It's what it actually says. It's where the springs are 8-way hand tied.
Okay.
So it gives it the strength that it needs for durability, for long-term purposes in hardwood construction.
All right.
But that being said, there's so much different technology going into these different manufacturers now. The 8-way hand tied is kind of going by the wayside a little bit. And now there's a lot more advancements in the industry. And we have a manufacturer that we use all the time now that's about 80% of our floor that we have less problems with on as far as construction than our 8-way hand tied construction company. So I would say there's a lot of different elements, and that company is by far about 60% less than our 8-way hand-tied manufacturer too. So when we say we have high end, we don't necessarily only have that. We definitely have, like I said, mid to high end.
Right.
Is furniture made in America, or if I interrupt you, just say, Jeff, shut up. I am not used to having two people in here.
I'm sure
I'm usually like one person, and you just got me completely thrown off.
Okay.
Is it usually made in America, or is it made somewhere else?
A lot of ours is, but there are parts potentially that might be shipped from overseas. So we do definitely deal with times when, we have delays and things like that. But a lot of our pieces are made in North Carolina.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and we try to control the narrative too of we want all American made products. I mean, that was always our goal. But today it's almost virtually impossible to get everything American made unless we stuck with strictly Amish and, strictly with a couple of vendors. Because even our vendors that are American made may get their nuts and bolts from Vietnam or something like that. So we try to do the control factor as much as we can.
Is that the place to be for furniture? Is that because there's different places for some reason window manufacturers end up in the northern territory and is furniture in North Carolina?
Absolutely.
Or is it everywhere?
That's the hub.
Yeah, that's
where everybody is for
is
sure.
Is it because of the type of wood that they're using, or is it just because?
I think it was just traditionally that's where it started.
The craftsmen are there. Yeah. That's where, a lot of the generations of people that, their father worked at that factory. Their mother was a seamstress, all these generations of people that have worked in these same places. And it just is a area that they know there's jobs available.
Right.
Yeah. So the majority of it is there. And then the Amish is northern Ohio, basically. Right. I mean, you'll have some in Pennsylvania, but most of ours are northern Ohio.
I get a kick out of the Amish. I went to school in Worcester at the agricultural school for Ohio State. And so we're just constantly surrounded by the Amish people and super nice people, very hardworking people. But we would buy a lot of shavings and sawdust and things from them. And I feel like if the Amish guy is the one putting it into the machine to make the piece of furniture, they're like, it's Amish. Don't worry about it. I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but it feels like it.
That's funny.
No, we know a lot of our Amish craftsmen.
They come in. It's funny. They come into our store. So they have a driver that drives them down, and then they come in and they visit us and everything. And we get invited to their houses to stay. Yeah. We haven't taken them up on it, but
you should.
We should.
It's a different way because we do the same thing. We have some guys that work with us here and build some barns and things, and they have a driver and they're like, come and stay with us. And I'm like, I'm all right. Come out and visit you.
They kind of like electricity. Right.
No, they're super guys. They're people of faith. I mean, they're just really cool to get to know them and understand them. Or maybe just learn about them. So who is your typical client? Like, is it just individuals walking down the street? Is it builders, or is it designers, or is it what?
Go ahead.
I think we get a wide variety, but we do get a lot of people because of our boutique destination, the fact that, Loveland is a place where there's a lot going on. So we do get a lot of walk-ins. We still get a lot of people that come in that are looking for bond. In all reality, they've been customers of that location for a long time. So they do come back, and we're happy to help them. We tell them it's still the same store, just a little different. No, we a lot of times have repeat customers. We have because we have been in the industry for so long.
Yes.
And a lot of our network of friends and family and people, word of mouth is really important for us in our business. And we do have a lot of people that just hear about something, see something. But I think we're starting to see, because of all the things that we've done with our events and with our, advertising and marketing, especially with social media, I think we're starting to see an influx of people coming in based off of that. So it's been great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we love families. I mean, family design is, I think, my favorite type of design, having families come in. And I think that's probably our bread and butter. I mean, we are in the suburbs, right? I mean, so essentially most of our clientele are suburbans and that they live in the area or surrounding areas. So we get a lot of that. And we do some commercial, and we definitely just finished a commercial job, and but mainly residential. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So I think about I always talk to people, I talk to the pastor at our church. I talk to different people about this, about there's doing what you love, and then there's running the business.
Yes.
And so you guys are kind of new in not new in the business, but you're new owning a business. How have you seen the struggles between, I love what I do and this sucks, because I'd love to go and just be able to do what I do right now, as long as somebody else would run the business.
Oh,
and
my
that would be so
goodness.
much more fun. How's that been for you?
Sure.
Oh boy. Yeah. So it's a learning curve.
There's a huge
for
learning.
Sure. And we have no life outside of our
no
store.
cash flow, no life.
Yeah. No cash flow, no life. We're trying really hard, struggling every day, but it's getting better every day too.
Right.
And seeing everything come to fruition.
Yeah.
Seeing our store and the development, and having people come into our store and say, oh my goodness. I mean, this is just beautiful. That right there solidifies that we did the right thing.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think the other challenge that we're having right now too is that we're also expanding our, we are subleasing spaces within our store to other companies.
Nice.
So why I love about
Relatable
that,
companies or just
I
companies?
think so, to some extent.
Women
owned.
run businesses is what we're looking to do, just to bring that boutique atmosphere under our roof.
Right.
Yes.
Nice.
So in order to have taken on the second floor like we did, obviously we're downtown Loveland. The rent is not inexpensive, right? So we subleased about 1/3 of our first floor to a bookstore.
Nice.
And we're really excited about that because she's got a great, following of people. She's blown up. She does, fantastic book clubs and story times and things like that, which again, to Heather's point, we do get a lot of business off of families in our suburban area. So it's a perfect atmosphere for her clientele. We actually have beautiful double doors that open from her space into ours. So we're really excited about, gaining traffic flow for us, but also, it's together, right?
Right.
And then she also has a Split Leaf Co. going in as well into that space. So it's
What is that?
Plants.
Live plants.
Okay.
So even though we've expanded into, silks and, faux plants or arrangements, I guess you
Right.
could say, she's bringing in the live
doing a real
things.
deal.
Yeah,
Yes,
she can do
exactly.
trees and little live plants and stuff too.
Right.
So it works really well with us.
Right.
And then we have a boutique that's moving in the back, a fashion boutique. And then we have an embroiderer who's coming in.
Man.
And then Kevin also owns the event center right up the street, and we're making an event center dressing area, so a bridal suite.
Wow, you
within
guys
there,
got it
too.
going on.
We do,
Yes.
but it's a nightmare as far as the construction. Did I tell you earlier about that or what? Yeah,
So every
it's been
day
a nightmare. Yeah.
It's just, you don't know what's going to happen when
No.
you walk through the door.
Today's windows going in, all new windows everywhere. So you got cranes and
We have
lifts
construction
and,
workers in and out. And, again, we're excited
What's
about
wrong with
it.
construction
Nothing
workers?
is wrong.
You don't think they're going to buy your stuff? We're not good enough? Here we go. Good Lord.
We love them all.
Who booked these people
We do love them
on this
all.
show? This is,
The only
There's
problem
just
is
so
you
many-
cover everything in dust.
Dust.
yeah, we don't
And
like
there's
those.
just
Keep it clean.
chaos happening all the time. But, again, it's all for the greater good. And we are really excited about the changes that we're seeing. So
And it's making our store look beautiful.
it really, really is.
That's
so
cool.
it's
Yeah.
been great. And I know we just think the idea of having all these businesses together under one roof is just going to be a really great thing for everybody,
Yeah, it's creating a community and a boutique atmosphere for sure.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think you could create an environment there where people come once a week, whether they need anything or not.
Yes.
That's
because
the goal,
they
right.
enjoy being in there and they can walk around and see things and then just kind of pick something up or tell their friends about it or read a book. And that sounds like it's pretty cool atmosphere to be in. So, why do people come to you? I mean, as far as not necessarily just you, but like, why would you go to a furniture store? Why wouldn't you buy it online? Why wouldn't you go through somebody else? Why would you do that? I know the answer to this. I'm
Right.
asking you to expand upon it.
well, there's a million reasons.
Yeah. I mean, we're a furniture store, but we're really a design destination too. So we do furniture, but we're interior designers. So we go out to people's homes and we kind of, basically do the whole job from beginning to end. So yeah, you can come in and buy a sofa from us, but essentially what we do, Jillian and I on a day-to-day is go to people's homes and make their homes beautiful from beginning to end. But that's why they come to us.
Sure.
I mean, I think that, and then we just have repeat business and we have referrals constantly from that as well. And I think that people do stop in to see our beautiful things, and we want to be everybody's feel good store.
Yes.
I think that is the goal. We had somebody say that to us the other day. It's a feel good store, and that's the goal for sure.
Right.
So yes, we are a furniture store, but we are so much more than that.
Yeah. But
sure.
also to have somebody would, if they just think that they can get online and buy all their furniture, that's great, if that works for them. But the advantage of walking into a store where you can sit on something, feel something, choose a fabric with a designer, coordinate everything together with a designer who knows what they're doing, who can help guide you in a way that's going to work for your family, your life, your budget. These are all things that we do for our customers.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that on a website. So
absolutely.
We're thrilled to be able to just support, give that to our clientele.
I think people undervalue the value of an expert opinion a lot of times when it comes to budget. So they're like, well, I don't need you to help me pick this out. I'm going to go save money and screw it all up. And I've seen a lot of people do that. I grew up, my dad is like that. He likes to just like, he's proud of the low price he paid for it, but when it goes wrong, he's pissed off.
Right.
And I'm like, if you have somebody to help you that is an expert that has really, can walk you through this, there's value there.
Absolutely.
And I think people, and it's not necessarily, your business is a lot like my business, where when in the beginning stages and when you're leading up to the actual sale, all of the work you're doing is for free. And so there's really, it doesn't cost you any more to get that, to have that expert person
so
there.
very true.
And that's really something that I think people should look at. Do you guys have, in the furniture business, do you have like a furniture association, or do you have like a furniture 20 club? Because in the building business, we have a builder 20 club where I have like 15 other builders across the United States who do something similar to what I do. And they're in Michigan and Park City and Seattle and all over the place. And we meet twice a year and we act like each other's board of directors and we help each other. And I know a couple tractor dealerships who have a 20 club like that, and the boating dealerships have that. I was curious to know if you guys had that, because we're talking about expert opinion and you learn so much more. And especially when you're just first starting out in business, you feel like you're all alone.
Right.
You feel like you're the only one having these issues. You feel like you're the only one who hates it.
Right.
And loves it and hates it and loves it and goes back and forth. And I don't know if you guys have looked into that.
No, we haven't really looked into that.
You should start it.
We definitely need to
some
do
of the
that.
royalties that come in on it.
Okay.
Let's do that.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
Do you find, because I've always
that
been
is so smart.
I've always been a person, like, even because in the Home Builders Association, I know all the builders. I'm friends with all the builders. Even if we're competitors, we're still friends. But you can help each other quite a bit. And I don't know if you guys feel that way or not in the furniture business. Or
I could probably we could probably take it further with like ASID and IDS, which are the affiliations that I belong to, but I don't really do anything with them. I just paid to get the initials behind my name, basically.
Right.
Really, quite honestly, that's what I did.
Right.
We were thinking about moving to the South, and I knew that in the South that I had to have the ASID, and so June helped me pay for it, so I did it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that was about it. But there probably is within that guild areas of expertise where you can go and sit and do that, but I just don't do anything with it. But that is a really good idea.
Yeah, when we go to High Point, North Carolina, we definitely take advantage of the fact that there's a bunch of other people there just like us.
Right.
And so we seek out, other,
we do talk to people.
Absolutely.
And find out the pros and cons of what's going on in their world.
Do they have seminars and things that is
they
like
do.
Your national show at market, right?
And they have national speakers, like really.
Well, somebody's got to be putting that thing
You're
on.
absolutely right. And you know what? We could start it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, there you go.
Let's put one more thing on our plate.
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
We were just talking about making a podcast the other day.
There you go.
After you turned us on to it, we were like, oh, well.
That's the easiest thing. People
What would
always
we
say
talk about?
What do you do with your podcast? Like, it's no big deal. Yeah, just come on in and start talking into the microphone. It's not a big deal. Yeah, let's do it. I think it's super helpful to talk to other people. It's like, when my wife and I first started having kids and when she's pregnant, and it's like, you feel like you're the only person that's ever done this.
Absolutely.
And it's like, man, there's millions of people who have, and you just need other people who are in there with you, and it helps
That's
you.
right.
Absolutely.
Helps you do it. So let's talk about, unless you want to talk about anything else, you want to talk about any other builders or anything like that leading up to this, but I was going to talk about our Homearama house a little bit. And talk about the collaboration with Robin and Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly Wynn and Robin Hauser that works here with us. How did that come together, and what is the style of Pickwick Place is the name of our Homearama house.
Yes.
And by the way, the Homearama show is coming up here the last week in August, the first week of September.
Yes.
And the opening day is the 24th of August. The big preview party night. Are you guys coming to the party?
Of course we are.
It's the 23rd. It's a private party that goes all night with, it used to be 2,500 of our best friends. It's cut back a little bit now, but it's still a good time. Tell me about how we arrived to working with each other, and what the taste of the house is. What's the direction?
So
you love it?
we knew that we wanted to do a Homearama house, and in the beginning we definitely knew that this year was the year to do it. Last year we thought about it, and this year because it was on Kevin's property, that was part of it, and we just were ready to launch Curated. So when we started talking to Kelly about it, it just kind of was a perfect fit. She needed the furnishings, and it all worked out really well together. So that was that. It was as easy as that. And then she came in and started making selections with both Jill and I and Sarah, the homeowner. And Sarah purchased some things, and then we filled in the rest as far as that goes. And the styling of the house is transitional and a little rustic. Jill and I were talking about that earlier. What is the style of the house? And that's pretty much it. I mean, in a nutshell, transitional.
There's a lot of classic lines too.
There are.
Like
it's a beautiful house. Absolutely elegant. Beautiful. And as far as working with Robin and Kelly on this, they're both so easy. They're some of the best designers.
Absolutely.
Because they're so easy to work with. They're not your typical designers. So they're sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree with you.
Definitely.
I agree with you. They're great people.
They
Wonderful
are
ladies,
wonderful,
for
and
sure.
we really have enjoyed working with them. And it's been seamless. Kelly and Robin, they're both so organized, detail oriented, and
The folders, the PowerPoints, all of it.
It's been wonderful.
So helpful.
They've been a great job.
That's good.
On
That's
our
good.
end, yeah.
That's good. That's
Yep,
good.
absolutely.
Robin's been here for a long time, and Kelly, her family actually comes from the furniture business.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yes, of course,
So
yeah.
she's got a lot of history there. I enjoy that process with both of them because they do such a great job. And you're right. I mean, they're super detailed, and I always tell everybody that we don't use we use the plans as just merely a suggestion, and we do whatever Robin tells us to do, building these houses, and everybody calls her and walks through that. So walk us through your process. I mean, if you're and they call you interior designers, but you're designers. I mean, because
Right.
you're usually you're kind of going outside, inside, working through a lot of different details on the whole house. It's not just like looking. I think about when you say interior designer, I see you standing inside the family room going, okay, yes, and looking at 3 or 4 things, and there's a million things you look at.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Take us through your process.
Well, I mean, as far as a builder, we do a lot of times take into account the exterior of the home. I love to take that aesthetic and pull it into the interior. And so that's definitely, an inspiration a lot of times. But sometimes people buy houses that they don't really love the outside as much. So we work with that. But we walk in, we take measurements, we look at everything, we take a lot of pictures, we ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
It's really important for us to understand how they're using the space. Do they have kids? Do they have animals? Do they, what goes on in these rooms? What's your life like?
Sure.
How many people do you, host on a regular basis, that kind of thing. And understand what they want the room to look like. What is your end goal? If they have photographs, if they have ideas, we really want their input as well as, because our goal isn't to make it look like we want it. Our goal is to make it look how they want in the most beautiful way possible.
Nice.
absolutely.
In the most, budget friendly to their budget, as well as, all the things that they want.
And functional.
And
Yes.
functional. Thank you. Yes. And so we take all of the, the notes that, how do you use the room and all that. And then we go back and we take our time. we go through all of our lines. We really consider fabrics, leathers. Okay, this is going to be better here. And we really put together a plan. Sometimes I'll do a couple different options, but most of the time I keep it pretty simple because they hired us, right?
Absolutely.
And so we want to present to them a plan. Here's what we think the very best way to address all of these issues that you have with a room, make it exactly what you want it, and here it is, boom.
And with that plan, are you giving them renderings, colored samples, vision boards, or?
Yeah, so I'll sometimes do a vision board. It'll depend on the clientele, but for the most part, I do a small floor plan myself, and then I have everything laid out. We try to find a spot in the showroom,
Yes.
and we lay out all of our fabrics. We lay out images of the furniture. A lot of times, I will put it into a PowerPoint. Sometimes, because I'll take a picture of their living room, and then I'll pop in a little sofa, just to give them an idea how that's going to look in their space. It's not perfect, but it gives somebody a kind of an idea, and then, I have that all laid out and with the finishes and everything. And a lot of times what's nice about having the showroom that we do is many times because we have so much square footage, I have that piece that I'm proposing right there in front of them, and they can sit in it. They can get comfortable in it. They can see how that's gonna, okay, when you read, how do you sit? Do you sit with your feet up? Do you sit straight up? How do you use a piece of furniture? And I tell them, sit in it, get cozy. Don't be shy, and to be able to make sure that piece is exactly what they want. So,
Cool.
Which is the nice thing about us having the furniture store. I mean, again, designers will tell you their biggest flaw of being able to do their job is to have furniture to sit in for their clients.
Right.
So having that at our fingertips is key for finishing the job too.
Yeah.
Right.
What are some of the most common challenges or obstacles that you are dealing with when you work with a client, when you work with just on a daily basis?
Oh, well, I would say financial is one of the things. I mean, furniture has gone up so exponentially, just like everything else in the world has. And, looking at those numbers and making sure that it fits within their bounds of reason, that's one of the things. That's probably my biggest challenge is just making sure that it's in a price point that fits them and fits their lifestyle at this time too. Right. It's not always a challenge, but time frames are not a challenge anymore. And I know people are going to ask that question because of COVID. And we were at 9 months, 12 months, over a year on some things at one point. Now we're at 8 to 12 weeks usually, unless it's Amish, and then it could be up to 12 to 16 weeks. Yeah. And that's about it. I mean, everything is pretty easy. But within those confines, I will say our clients still want it fast.
Yes.
They're like, well, if they could have it tomorrow, they would love to have it tomorrow. But if it's special order, it's still going to take a little bit of time to get.
Sure.
So I think those are the main challenges that we face every day.
Sure.
I would say we also sort of face the idea that somebody can get online and buy something, that might be similar to what we, for our customer base to understand that what we offer is different.
Right.
Absolutely.
They see, okay, we presented a gray sofa and a, chair, a leather chair over here. And they think that they can just take that and go down Wayfair and think that it's going to be the same when it's not.
That's tough. I think that defines your customer a lot of times. For us, it's a little bit probably easier to do that, because if somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm talking to this builder, and this builder, I'm like, then you just go keep talking to them.
Sure.
Because we're obviously not on the same page.
Right.
If they start that stuff, well, I could go buy, I don't know why you're doing this. I could go buy this at Lowe's. I'm like, I don't think so.
Right.
And so it kind of weeds them out. And
right.
Like, all right, I don't think we're going to continue to do business together like this. That's tougher for you guys, but it's also, it's same with us where I tell people all the time, you're going to get a house built. If you go to whoever you want, you're probably going to get a house built. Is your experience going to be as good? Are you going to be happy with the end product? Is it going to be as high quality? Who knows?
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
But when they start, that is tough, because we dealt with that a lot. We still deal with a lot on all of our different fixtures and different things. So when they come to us and say, well, you can buy it online. You can buy it online. A lot of our vendors have compensated for that, as far as how
ours too,
going back to the manufacturers, going back to them and actually holding to that suggested retail price.
Exactly. It's just a shame that you have to do that.
It is a shame that you have to do that.
It should not be played like that.
I agree.
But I'd say about 99% of our clients respect and value what we do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come to us
And
to have
ours
us
is the same
fulfilled
way.
us. Yeah. You'll just have that 1%.
Right.
You are looking.
I would agree.
So I mean, is there people that, I mean, you're selling furniture. Obviously, if somebody wants to buy furniture, you're going to sell it to them. But as far as design work, and when you start getting into that more personal relationship, are there times where you're just like, hey, look, we're not a good fit. You need to move on.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I have fired clients before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough term to say that you fired them. I mean, because I hear people say,
Yes.
I had to fire a client, and I'm like, they probably were ready to go too.
Sure.
I mean, because whether they like it or
Sometimes.
not. I mean, when a relationship's not going well,
Right.
You think you're unhappy. Well, they're probably unhappy too, and
Right.
you just need to make you're the one that's going to call the
Right.
shot. So
Right.
it's such a difficult. That's so difficult.
It is so difficult.
Yeah.
And we have a business coach, and he's always talking about the sale of letting them down is just as powerful and needy as the sale of trying to bring them on board, because you
Isn't
have
that
to
the
tell
truth?
people no.
Yeah.
But you can't say you suck, you're fired, I don't want to deal with you.
Right.
You have to be like, well, listen, you're sugarcoating it,
Right.
which is something I'm not.
Absolutely. I know.
I got too
I'm
much
not good at-
hillbilly
in me to
I
sugarcoat
know
it.
I'm not good at that either.
I had a little old lady one time who was just darling, and she was just precious, and she wanted to keep all of her furniture, but yet wanted it to look like the model
Yeah.
at the place where she was buying her new condo. And I said, well, and I tried to work with it. And, she just, oh, no. And I finally had to just sit her down and say, I'm so sorry, but I just don't think that I can do what I can't do that. So until you want to make some other changes or make some other adjustments, I'm just not sure that I can help you.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can, but I'm so sorry.
She just took all of her old furniture to her house.
Yes,
and that's how she's living now.
Yeah. And that's fine, but she said, oh, I want it to look like this. So, well, it's not going to look like that unless we make some changes,
Right.
but she wasn't willing. So, I'm sure grief or different things with, people getting rid of old things
Yeah.
can play a part
Absolutely.
into some of that, and that we do see some of that sometimes.
Because you think you know what you want.
But sometimes
Right.
you don't.
You need that
Sometimes you
expert
don't.
opinion.
Right.
You need
Absolutely.
that expert opinion.
Absolutely.
I jumped off because that's the way my mind works. It's jumped off of that Homearama topic when we were talking about
yeah.
it. And we were kind of, as we were going through the conversation, I was thinking about it. When you came in to do our Homearama house, and I'm sure you had Kelly and you had Robin and you had Sarah talking about this, but you didn't start that job from the beginning to say, here's your floors, here's your light fixtures,
Right,
here's your countertops, and you're blending in, which probably makes it somewhat is more difficult to deal with, because you're trying to wedge it a little bit. So,
I would say it would be if it wasn't with Kelly and Robin, because they just, I don't know how it works so well, but it was just seamless.
Nice.
It was just really, really easy. We let Kelly take the lead, and she ran with it, and we just listened and then helped her fill in the pieces.
that's
Right.
good.
So it was not hard at all.
I was just thinking about,
Absolutely.
because we just signed we have to carry the insurance for the rug gallery and all that stuff. And we were
Right.
just doing that upstairs before I came down, and I was thinking, man, because you're also dealing with that, and
Right.
you're putting your furniture on top of that. You're surrounded by paint. You're surrounded by light fixtures. You're surrounded by different curtains and things, and now here you are coming in putting this furniture in. That had to be a challenge, right? Or no? I mean, you're saying it's
I'm
not.
saying it wasn't.
I don't think it was at all.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think it's because our showroom has so much variety too. If
Right.
we were very limited, if this was a year ago, it would have been very difficult. I would have had to special
true.
order everything,
Yeah.
which we did special order some things for Kelly. I mean, we did not have a problem with special ordering. We knew that there were certain things that we needed, and we wanted to make it perfect. We didn't want to sacrifice with just the pieces that we had on the floor. But that being said, because our showroom has grown exponentially the way it has, Robin and Kelly have had all kinds of things to choose from. So it
good.
worked very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
That's good.
It was a
do
great
you,
process.
Do you think I can't remember how much furniture we've done in that house, but I mean, have you supplied like 90% of our house or
The only thing that we haven't supplied are our seamstress, of course, is not doing the window treatments, and the rug gallery does rugs, but we do rugs with the rug gallery all the time.
Yeah.
We have a show house right now that they did all the rugs, and then we also did not do the art or the botanicals.
Okay.
So Botanic is doing the botanicals, and then Gallery Veronique is doing the art.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, all the other accessories, lamps, furniture, furnishings are all coming from us. So I'd say it was at least 80% us, and then filling in from there.
That's funny.
Which that collaboration of those other vendors fit seamless with us too, because we use them.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
in our showroom.
That's good.
And the people that run those places and who we work with are working with Kelly and Robin on that too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
just
neat.
all have a great relationship
We do.
together.
That's
good.
It's
Absolutely.
been wonderful.
That's good.
Yeah.
No katniss going on.
Oh
You
gosh,
guys-
no,
No,
not
not at
even
all.
close.
That's the last thing we are. Yeah. We don't go that way. We stay away from that nonsense.
Guys always ask me, he's like, do you ever go through all the other houses? And I'm like, yeah, I usually do, because we're going in there drinking beer with each other and hanging
Yeah.
out
Sure.
and talking. But one of the main things I look for in the other houses is I go and look at the art, the different pieces that they have in
Interesting.
there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because if you find a piece that's really just cool and you fall in love with it, I mean that's the one that
Yes.
you really want to hang on to. And every once in a while you see something, but then I'm like, I love that piece, and then they show me the price. I'm like, I hate that piece. That is the worst piece I've ever seen. Who brought that here?
That's hilarious.
So when you talk about budget, because we were just getting into your process before, and do people give you a budget? Because I think that's so difficult for somebody to say, well, here
It can be, yeah.
I want to spend $4,000, and you're like, well, you need to be like $100,000.
Right.
People just don't realize what furniture costs.
Right.
How do you present that budget to people? How do you set expectations for these numbers and things that are
I
going to
think
happen?
a lot of times when someone comes in our store for the first time and they're looking around at our store and they're seeing the price points on a lot of the pieces and they ask us to do their room, we sort of take that as a pretty good guide that they're going to
Yeah.
be interested. But we do ask, and certainly, a young family of kids, I'm not going to put some velvet sofa that's not performant.
Right.
We do,
Right.
I'm not going to, we're not spendthrifts. A lot of times people think of designers as just, they're just going to spend all your money.
Right.
But it's not how it is. We really
Absolutely.
are very conscious, of our clients' budgets. And because first of all, we're not going to make the sale, number one, if we
Right.
go way above
Yeah.
what they need
Absolutely.
to spend. I mean, and sometimes customers will come out just right out and say, I had a customer yesterday who just said, hey, this is my budget.
Nice.
But I do gauge based on what they're looking at and what they're, and sometimes we do need to ask. But for the most part, I feel like we can somewhat gauge based on what they're drawn to on the showroom floor. And I do
Yes.
say, well, this over here is going to be a lot more expensive. This is a line that's going to be, more entry level, engage them right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes by experience. It's when you've been in the business as long as we have, you kind of understand, kind of read the room a little bit and understand when they need a budget, when they need you to ask for a budget.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or when they're just like, I just need to get this done. It needs to be like this. And, but we've gotten that wrong before too.
Yep.
We have made a mistake of not asking for a budget and going above and beyond and doing something. And sometimes it can wrap back around to you too. So you got to be conscious of that. And it's,
Right.
I think we're always learning.
Yeah. We talk about time, passion, and money here at Wieland Builders all the time. And those are the three things I want you to have in order to build a house with us. And the passion is probably the most important, even though you think about the money. But again, if they're coming to talk to us and build a house with us, then you're assuming that they've already seen our website.
Absolutely.
They've seen some of the things we've done and
Yes.
they understand what it is. But the money part of it becomes it's not difficult conversation most of the time with our clients, but a lot of times it can be awkward because you're trying because and it makes it awkward because I look at myself. I always use my own experiences on what I'm trying to do, and I don't know how much something costs until I start shopping.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, I'm going to go buy a new truck, and I'm like, I'm going to spend $50,000 on it, and I find out that everything I want is $80,000. Well, then I'm either not going to buy a new truck, or I have to bump my allowance a little
Right.
bit and understand what that means. And I think that's the same thing with the furniture business. Probably the same thing with the home building business. You just hope that in that pecking order, if there's 5 different places they're shopping, you're not the first, and maybe you're not the last.
right.
You got to find
Absolutely.
that, because you don't want them to look at you and go, "You're too expensive," and they're so offended in their own mind, and they're just never going to come back.
Yeah.
Right.
And you just it's just so difficult. I
It
hate
is.
that.
It is.
Right.
But you're looking for a specific customer, and you guys
Absolutely,
have that.
we are.
You
Yeah.
have that specific boutique customer that you want, and
Yes.
that you want to work with, and they appreciate what you guys do. I think that is really important. So, did we send you this list of questions?
Yes.
Did we?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
just wondering if we did, because I mean, you guys are doing really well.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't thrown you any curveballs, which kind of is
Not
boring
yet.
for me.
Well, are you going to?
No, I don't have anything. I'm just not that good at what I do. So going back to designs and services, and everything revolves around the customer, right?
Yes,
I mean, when we're
always.
talking about most of this stuff,
Always.
we're talking about furniture, and then we talk about customer. We talk
Yes.
about furniture, and then we talk about a customer, and so it's always about customizing and doing things specifically for people. What's your favorite project been so far?
Oh, boy.
Gosh, there's been so many of them. I think that, I mean, recently I have several projects. I guess because in my own world of how I design for myself, I'm a little bit more traditional, and I like antiques and I like new things. So I have a project of one of those projects was my favorite, and I kind of wrap myself back around to that. But they're all my favorites at the time, right? Until you're done, and then you finish and you're like, well, there's a new one in the horizon. So you're always looking forward, never behind really too much.
Yeah.
Sure. I would say some of my favorites are the ones that I've worked on for many, many years. I have clients
Yes.
that I've had for so long. And, to see the evolution of each one of their rooms and each one of their spaces, go from being a playroom when their kids were little to now it's, a little bourbon room for them later, or, whatever it might be, how you can shift and evolve a home to fit their life. And, it's just a joy to see how you can impact someone's
Absolutely.
life by having helped them create a space that this is where they rock their grandbabies. This is where they, all these really cool things, and that you help them make it what it is. And I think sometimes we can undervalue aesthetic as being important. So many
Yes.
times I think, we all
You should write that down.
should.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I a lot of friends that we have are really important. They're doctors, or they do this. They do things that are important. And I've always kind of thought of myself, I just do stuff and fluff. I just make things pretty. And, really at the end of the day, I've had to tell myself, no, it is important. It is. And what we do adds
Absolutely.
tremendous value to people's lives. So
It adds the
to see
comfort
that.
level to those doctors or whoever
That's
when
right.
they're at their end of the day. Where do
Right.
they go?
Right.
They go home,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
very-
It's been wonderful to help. And to friends, I would say to have helped a few
Yes.
friends,
Yeah.
with their spaces, just because you just connect with them so much. You automatically kind of know what they need and what they love. And, it's just
Or you
fun.
become really close friends with some of the people that you've worked with. I mean,
Absolutely.
as you know, with Sarah, you're on their second house, right?
Yep.
And so I have clients that I'm on their third house. I mean, it's just you get attached, completely attached, and become your friends too. So that's why it becomes your favorite on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I think that whenever you get an opportunity to be still friends, speaking kindly of each other at the end of the
Yes.
job, or you run into each other down the road,
Yep.
or you just pick up the phone and call and talk to people. That's one of the most rewarding things that you can get, because in our business, everybody talks about just how much they hate their builder, and it always happens. Like I stand in Homearama, and I'm always I'm like, where do you live at? And they tell me, like, well, who built your house? And they'll go, oh God, and they hate their builder. And it was
never
because they
heard
didn't
that
have a
about
very
you.
good experience. They just, whatever it was. I mean, they got a house done, but there was something. And most of the time, it's because it's a long-term deal. I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
we're working with these people for, a couple years building these houses, and then it's a couple years after that, and you just never know what happens in that long term. There's always some ups and downs, but when you can really have that relationship, and I think that's what's cool about what you guys are doing is that's what you're aiming for, and I think that really puts your heart on your sleeve. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Really cool. So everybody always asks me all the time in building business, what's trendy, what's new, and what's happening. Like, I'm going to come out with something and they're going to go, oh, wow. And I'm like, there's really not, we're not, super crazy like that. I mean, there's things that we're always chasing history. I think we're going back
Isn't that the truth?
and trying
That's very
to
true.
get things that used to be, and we're improving them, or we're getting things that are now and we're getting rid of them, and it'll come back in a couple years.
Yeah.
What's the deal with you guys, what you're seeing?
Oh,
what's
that's
Trends.
that's
Yeah.
kind of a loaded question. We don't work in trend. As designers, well-established designers like ourselves, we really don't work in trend. We work in people's homes and make them what they need to be and what they want them to be.
Sure.
So that being said, I really don't work in trend. But what is trendy that's kind of cool right now is this new generation and all of the upcycling that they're doing and wanting antique pieces again and wanting their old stuff. They want your mom's things or your grandma's things or Aunt Frida's stuff, right? And I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that they're thinking like that and using those products in houses and their homes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I mean, some other trends I guess I'm seeing is the arch. You know, the arch is a big thing right
back
now.
Again. Yeah.